Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. We have a fun few goodies to show you guys. I actually have no stamps but a few dies and some cool things that have come in recently. First off, I'm going to start off by showing you this ribbon. Nothing that exciting, but it is a beautiful pattern and it honestly goes with everything. So that is just one of those lovely kind of staples that's good to have in your drawer. Heaps and heaps of ribbon comes on the roll as well. And then next up are water brushes. I purchased these three and they all have different tips to them. This is a small, a medium and a thicker one, and these are the brushes that I use when I am watercolouring or if I'm using my oxides as kind of watercolours or anything like that. These are what I use. So I picked up three of these and I really like the ones that are the long ones. You can also get ones on Ali that are really short, but I get those for my daughter, but I prefer the long ones myself. So that's that. So these were pretty cute and I kind of just couldn't resist them. They are just little wooden embellishments. And by the way, this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of paper, and it should just give you a rough idea of the size of things that I'm showing you. There's two of each of these designs and they're pretty lightweight, but they are quite thick. They kind of feel nice and sturdy. They're not going to break, that's for sure. So yeah, thought those were pretty cute. Next up, I just quickly wanted to show you that I have been looking for some of the enamel dots that have glitter in them, and these are kind of hard to show, but these have lots of glitter in them and they're nice and sparkly. So I will add that to my collection and also some cool colours. Then next up after that I wanted to show you a couple of dies. So here is one, and actually over on my Facebook channel we just had a silhouette card challenge going, and that was for the month of September, so it's just closed, but I have cut it out so that you can just roughly see what it looks like. The die actually finishes about here and here, and I think I just carried it on so that it would fit across the page, so you can see it's not quite that, but it's a nice good sized die, that's for sure. Then after that I have this one here. Now these two little dies, this one came attached there and you just kind of bend and break it off, but this is seriously pretty, so you can kind of get an idea of the size of it. In fact, it measures 5 1/2 inches by 4 1/2 inches. So anyway, what you can do is, this is a cutting blade and this has no cutting blade all around the outside, so what this one cuts is this. So if I shift that across, you can see what that one cuts, which is so pretty and delicate. But if you want it to cut it and you want to turn this into perhaps a pocket, then you can add the cutting die here and that will cut that perfect shape for you. So a couple of options with this one and looking forward to using that. Next up is just a couple of staple dies. This one is 3 frame dies. If I put it up against that piece of paper you can get an idea of the size of it. And these have an outside cutting blade and then 3 stitched lines. They do not have an inside cutting blade. So the same with this middle one. It has an outside cutting blade and then 3 stitched lines. And then this die in the middle is separate. I have kept mine together for now, but when I use them I will probably separate them, of course. Speaking of staples, I have this one in the rectangles. It's just like post stamp with a little stitched border around the inside of it. So again, it only cuts the outside frame, not the inside frame. And as I said, I have the rectangles and I've been doing a lot of square cards recently, which I've been enjoying, kind of 5 by 5 cards. So yeah, that's why I picked that one up. Next up I have this one here, and this is a really cool kind of unique die. Now I made this card on my channel. The tutorial is on my channel if you're interested, and I just did this from normal little hearts and I cut out his little suit jacket myself and I cut out the bow myself. Now this is obviously a different size because this one is a lot smaller, but that is essentially what this one is to cut out. So it cuts out his wee the V-neck part, and then so you would just use the plain heart for the guy and the suit, and then for the you know, the bride one, you would use the nice crimped edge around the outside. So, and then you can decorate them as you wish, but it's sort of similar to what I did here, but it's kind of a die for it and it's much bigger. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Next up, I have a couple of stencils to show you guys. Now this one is just like some little paint drips and then just some random markings that is quite cool for mixed media. So there's that one. Next up, again, this one is kind of just a staple to have in your card making supplies or scrapbooking supplies. It is a little bit flimsy, but I think you expect that when so much of the material is not there. Next up, I have a couple of things here. Now these are, they came in little bags obviously, but I have taken them out for you guys. Now these came separately. I ordered two different things, but they are kind of the same product. Now they actually are stickers as well. So you can peel them off and stick them onto your project. I thought these would be really cool for a quick background to your card. So you'd obviously have to cut it down. These are 6 by 6 inches, so it's going to cut your regular 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card front perfectly. You'll have plenty of room and kind of choose what you want to have on the card. But I just really like, it's kind of a vintagey feel if you're into that kind of thing. So yeah, and I just really like the fact that they're nice and easy, they're kind of pre-made, and yeah, I like the idea of it. So just whip through those. I think there's a couple of, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4 designs in a pack and 2 of each design. And then as I said, here is the other one, that one, and that one. Oh, that's so pretty. Imagine, yeah, definitely. Oh, how exciting. Oh, that one is so pretty. Imagine putting that on a card front. Ah, perfect. All the work's kind of done for you. But anyway, if you're just in a hurry. Anyway, so those are those. So there's 8 sheets in each one, and they are 6 by 6 size. And then the last but not least thing I wanted to show you was I purchased this self-inking stamp. Now there are a million of these on Ali, and so you can kind of take your pick. Again, this is just for a reference, but I wanted mine to say handmade by Natasha Foote. That's my name obviously, and you just press it down and voila. So I mean, there's heaps of them where you can get different designs and you can get all sorts of things. You can choose what you want this to say. This is what I wanted it to say. This is what I typed out and wrote to them, and so it came super quick and yeah, nice and easy, that I can stamp on the back, down the bottom of my cards, and I don't have to ink up my stamp or anything. So yeah, that was kind of just a nice wee cheat if that's something that you're interested in. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, bye.